Hey, how are you?
Doing good, sir.
Yeah. My question is, I work in a plant, and I developed copper toner from working on the job for the years that I worked there.
Mm-hmm.
And I had surgery the first of the year in January and February on both hands. And I went through physical therapy and everything, and they are trying to settle with me. The doctor gave me 10% disability in my right hand, and me and the doctor had a little incident where when I went back to my follow-up, they didn't release me because it was too soon after my surgery. So I had to go back the next week, but in the midst of that, they sent workers' comp the false information that I was released to go back. First follow-up that I had, and I went to the doctor, and it caused a lot of confusion, and I didn't get a paycheck within like 3 weeks, about 3 weeks. And I called workers' comp and asked them what was going on, and she explained to me that the doctor they said they had released me to go back to work when I had the first follow-up, which they didn't, and they didn't tell me anything about it.
Okay, no Anthony, I'm going to put you on hold, and if you will, Stewart, I know you hear these kind of things every day, people battling this sort of situation, so what kind of information would you give him to help him?
Sure. Well, it sounds like Anthony has what we call a bilateral carpal tunnel claim, which is very common. It's an occupational injury that you get from repetitive use or overuse of your wrists or your hands, and usually results in a carpal tunnel release or a surgery. And the 10% he is talking about is what you call an impairment rating. Now, workers' comp compensation is derived different from workers' comp than it is a personal injury case, like a car wreck case, like what Farris, Riley, and Pitt, and Mr. Riley do. The 10% is an impairment rating is a medical term that measures loss of use of your body. Like, because of this injury, he's lost 10% of the use to his body as a whole or to the upper extremity. That's to the hands, the arms. That 10% goes into a mathematical formula that the legislature has created, and it would give Anthony a range of money that he may not be entitled to. These cases are not heard by a jury. If you have to go to court, they're heard by a judge who has to apply the workers' comp statute. The statute was created by the Alabama legislature. Whereas a car wreck case, you have an option for your case to be heard by a judge, but more often than not, they're heard in front of a jury. And the jury can award pain and suffering and mental anguish and sometimes punitive damages. Well, that's not how workers' comp works. Really, your damages are encompassed by the impairment rating. And Anthony, if you're not able to go back to work, generally your damages or your money damage, your compensation will go up. If you are able to go back to work, your case still has value, but obviously not as much as if you can't go back to work.
So what about somebody like Anthony? Let's say that he can't do the job he was doing before.
Right.
All right. But he's got impairment just to his upper extremities.
Right.
All right. Can he get a vocational impairment on top of that?
You know,
meaning loss of access to jobs.
The law is trending no on what they call scheduled members, and scheduled members are injuries to your hand, your arm, your legs, your feet. Those are what we call scheduled members. Your eye, your ears, body as a whole is your back, your shoulder, your neck. So non-scheduled members are generally more valuable than scheduled members, but you know, there's always exceptions, and that's why you need to speak with a lawyer. But one more thing, Anthony, I think you were asking about your paycheck or your workers' comp check. When you're hurt on the job and the doctor takes you out of work or gives you restrictions, that your employer cannot accommodate up until the point that he releases you, they have to pay you a workers' comp check, or what we refer to as TTD, or temporary total disability. That is 66 2/3 of your average weekly wage. You don't get your full paycheck where you're out. You get 66 2/3 of your average weekly wage. And it sounds like there was some sort of mix-up with your check. But if in fact you were not released and they owe you a check, then they owe you a check, and you know that's the kind of things I handle every day.
Anthony needs to call an attorney. He needs to call Stewart and get this ironed out. The cost in Alabama is minimal. It's 15%.